everyone, and welcome to Scrafterpiece. My name is Lydia, also known as Illustrata, and welcome to 2026. The only thing I've uploaded this year is my compilation and the wedding dress video, so this is my official first fully filmed video in 2026, I guess is a great way to put it. So typically I do a year in review each year. Oftentimes I try and publish it around the anniversary of my starting my channel, which is January 22nd. Did that happen? No, because life itself has just been very, very busy. So typically when I do a review of the year, I do my makeup because I'm going to like an event or something like that. So we're just gonna take my makeup off and also re-dye my hair because my hair has been faded a lot. So I'm going to be going to see Liz next month in March to kind of update my hair. So we're just gonna have a chill chat as I clean my face off and discuss how this year went. So, and for once I actually wrote an outline, so I'm growing as a YouTuber, which is crazy. Full disclosure, after I finished the wedding dress video, which took absolutely forever. I had over 4 hours of footage that I started off with and cropped it down to what you guys saw, the hour and 23 minutes. That took so long to edit, and then because I had so many different videos that were leading up right after the wedding that I couldn't focus on the wedding dress video. Oh my gosh, it was so hard to crop that video down because it was just so much details, and then there's stuff that I missed that I had to re-record. After I finished that video, I finished it at 3 a.m. I don't remember what day. I literally collapsed into bed. I was so tired from editing that. I just legitimately just crashed into bed. And then it's been so hard to do anything creative since then, and keep in mind I finished this nearly a month ago. My gosh, it was ridiculous how long it took me, because I did contemplate making it into 2 videos, but I just whatever. I just wanted to be done with it. Yeah, so last year was a lot. Did I accomplish nearly as many of the goals that I said in last year's video? No, I did not. So in total, how many videos did I do? So honestly, impressively, I still uploaded about, say, 10 or 11 videos. Granted, a few of those videos were update videos, so like when I got engaged, when I was giving my update in the middle of moving. And out of those, the best one was the breathing new life into the Sonic figures, which I had so much fun doing, especially when I was doing Shadow. Shadow was so much fun. And also experimenting with stop motion, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the Shadow video more than I did Sonic, but it was just so much fun just redoing them, making them look more like their movie characters, and they turned out really good. I really liked them. There was a video that I had planned for last year that I had fully filmed, and I think I mentioned it even in one of my... I mentioned it at some point this past year. I was doing Sonic character outfits because I was in a very big Sonic craze after Sonic 3 came out. And I had fully detailed outfits planned for every single character, well, the characters who had been introduced in the movie. So I had outfits for Sonic, I had outfits for Tails, Knuckles, I tried Stone as well, the henchman, and I had so many outfits for Robotnik. I'm actually going to insert what my makeup turned out like because I had so much fun. I had so much fun filming this video. However, when I went to go edit it, most of the footage was blurry. Shocker, shocker, whatever. Honestly, with how stressed I was becoming with how the year went, I did not have it in me to salvage it. So I ended up doing some markets. I didn't end up getting to be able to do either Ren Fair, unfortunately, but I did an April market, 1 or 2 in May. I think there was 2 in June, and then I did 1 in July. And then since I mentioned in the wedding dress video, well, I was dealing with so much on my plate, I decided to not do the August markets. That came with a lot of tears. I talked to Tabitha about it, and we were like, I can't do this in addition to everything else that's currently going on. So, and then I also ended up not doing the September ones, obviously, because that's when I was getting married, like literally the day after. And then that was when I was also on my honeymoon. There was one singular market that was in October that I did, which was a lot of fun. And I had like ultra discounted everything that was in my booth because I was just trying to get rid of as much as possible before the end of the year. So that's kind of like a summary with the markets that I did. Since I don't really have any huge major events that are going on this year, aside from like some family related stuff, I want to be able to focus more on markets. Oh yeah, what was my worst video? Actually, looking at the listing, I'm not super surprised, but it was my moving out video. That was a very, very chaotic video. 1 to film, and then 2 to edit. Yeah, that was my worst one. I'm currently at 202 subscribers, which is really great because now we've finally broken 200. I think when I was last watching the year in review footage from last year, I think I was at like 180 something, I think. So yeah, that's growth. Welcome to you new members. Hopefully you like what I make and want to stick around. So what happened last year? Why wasn't I not uploading for long periods of time? Obviously, as you know, I got engaged in February, which was awesome. It was really, really great and crazy experience. I had no idea that it was coming. My husband literally proposed to me on stage with all of our friends. It was really great. It was the anniversary of our get together. Now we've been getting together for 9 years. So we are actually going to be celebrating the 9-year anniversary this Friday. So that's really cool. So that happened. So it was just like, okay, this is what we're working towards. Okay, we were trying to start doing like the wedding planning. And then my lease was going to be up at the old location where I was living in June. And so I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to continue month to month until I have to move out for the wedding, or should I move beforehand? Where are we going to move after we get married? And then, as you guys noticed, I did end up moving. So did my husband. He ended up moving twice. So an opportunity came up to move into one of the apartments that is currently at my parents' house, because they have a few different apartments that they've converted from their old shed building. So I talked to them. I was like, hey, would this work? Can I potentially move so I can move ahead of time so I'm not stressing about moving during the wedding season? Which, looking back on it, I am so thankful that I did that, because the amount of stress that I dealt with on top of moving, that would have been awful to deal with if I had waited until we got married to move. Anyway, so they talked it over. They had to get some stuff done in the apartment first. So they were like, okay, yeah, you'll move in. This is the rent. It was great. And so yeah, I started working on moving everything, packing everything up. And then I had my bridal shower, which was honestly one of like the best bridal showers I've ever been to. Like, Tabitha fully decked it out like to look like Alice in Wonderland. It was amazing. That went really well, and I was still trying to move everything. And so finally I moved right at the end of June. I gave my keys over, and then I was moved here. Didn't have an AC unit for about a week, which sucked, but then we got that sorted out. Initially I was going to kind of like talk about the good, talk about the bad, but I'm kind of just going by timeline at this point. I just want to get this video out. So as you guys, well, some of you guys might have seen in the moving vlog, I had to put Mal down in June. That was while in the middle of moving, it was rough. All through this start of the moving process and since the beginning of this year, Mal's health started declining. He was 12 and a half, starting to lose hair on his face due to an infection that was starting to spread, and I was trying to medicate for it. He was on so many different medications, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to move him. I don't even know where I'd keep him. So I was like, maybe I should rehouse him, I don't know what I should do. And then like financially, was I don't know, I didn't know if I was going to be able to afford it. And it was just a big decision because I didn't know what to do. I really genuinely did not know what to do about my cat that I had for this many years. Of course, the guilt. And I didn't know what to do until I was still like a little under a month until I had to move, and his health kept declining no matter how, like, the medication that we had him on. He was also starting to become scared of me because I was giving him constant medication all the time. I had to make the decision. The week that he passed, he wasn't doing anything. His health declined very, very quickly that last week. And then I remember holding him at one point, and it was just like, this is the decision. And it was, I think he knew it was his time, and yeah. So Craig took me, we went over to one of the veterinarian hospitals. I got to hold him as he took his last breaths, and then we buried him. And keep in mind, this is like, I didn't really talk about it that much in the video because I didn't really know how to approach it, and I was also like, I was dealing with nausea, headaches, all of that. Honestly, once I started watching that footage back, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot I was dealing with that. And then the guilt, and then stress from moving and trying to plan a wedding, and I hadn't really worked on my dresses at all. It was a lot. Then dealing with markets, dealing with just everything on top of everything. So that happened. We got our engagement photos done. Yeah, this was when we got our venue situated. It was a lot. This year was, I'm glad last year's over, to say the very least, being honest. Like I mentioned in the video, my friends came out and helped me move, which was the biggest help, because I have a lot of stuff. When you have over 1,100 square feet, it's a lot to move everything into a 1 bedroom, well, very long bedroom. But so I started living there, and my stress just continued to climb because it was less and less time to work on my dresses, less and less time. It's also dealing with markets. And then I had my market that was in July, which walking into it, I knew it wasn't going to be a good day. And then it ended up being my financially worst market I've ever had, on top of it being hot out because it's in July. Obviously, July in Idaho is not great. Then my grandma passed away, and she was my last living grandparent. She's my mom's mom. So that happened that day, and then we had to figure out like when we were going to head to Minnesota for the funeral, and we went there. All of us 7 siblings got to go, which was awesome. So those of you who don't know, I have 6 siblings. I'm second youngest, and all 7 of us got to go out to Minnesota to support my mom and be there with my relatives. A lot of my relatives I haven't seen in quite a few years, which was great to see them again. And we all got to be there in support of mom and celebrate grandma's life and make new memories with everybody, and we drove there. Well, most of us did. So after that, I'm like trying to keep working on my dresses as much as possible and trying to shove everything in and just make sure I got the plans that I wanted. And honestly, it's a huge blur at this point. But then August rolled around. That was my go time. I'm like, I need to get this done. I need to get all of this done. And while I'm dealing with all of this, I am dealing with work. At the beginning of the year, I started working only 32 hours because I could still work enough to support myself and also keep my benefits. I understand not everybody has that opportunity or that privilege to be able to do that. That's just what my situation is. Even then, work began like sucking the life out of me. So for those of you guys who aren't Idaho natives, traffic has become terrible here for a few different reasons. And so since I live about, technically if there's no traffic, I live about 20 minutes from Boise. And that's where I worked. I don't work there anymore. So when you have early shifts, you're stuck on the freeway for about an hour each direction in the middle of summer. Luckily I was able to use my mom's car that actually had working AC, which was awesome. I hope you guys don't mind just me chatting because I'm done with my face now, so I'll probably be starting on my hair momentarily. Oh, I can't wait to go to Liz and get this all figured out. So on top of me working on both my wedding dresses, I was working my shifts, stuck in traffic an hour each direction. And then oftentimes I would be working on my dresses until 2 a.m. and then get into bed by like 2:30 and then have to be up by like 6:45, 7, depending on what shift I was working, to get to Boise and then get back. And then I was just so drained because work wasn't great. And it was so difficult to work on anything creative, on my wedding dresses, on anything. Awful. And I was so thankful for any of the weekends that I would get, but then I would just be so tired and so drained that I couldn't work on anything. It was not great. All that aside. So in August, I got to have sleepover with Liz. That's when she did my hair for the final test, and then we tested out my nails. Turns out my nails don't actually like nail polish, which was annoying. And then we went to the market. We went to one of the markets I would have worked at, but we ended up getting me wedding decor instead, which was great. We were needing more of them because I was trying to figure out like, how am I going to customize all this wedding decor, because I don't exactly know what our tables are going to look like and whatever. So let me actually go grab some gloves so I can start working on my hair, and then we can go into the rest of this year. So I'll be right back. And I am back. So yeah, beginning of September rolled around. I had my last day of work, which was the 5th, and then I was home free, and I had a bunch of vacation time saved up, and I ended up not going back to that job, which kind of sucked for them, because it was, when you're in my field of work, September is not a good time to quit. Even though I didn't technically quit, I just went on vacation. Anyway, so finally I was done with work. I did contemplate taking off the 2 weeks before work, and I genuinely wish I did, because then that's more time for me to exclusively focus on the dresses and getting those done. But I didn't. So the week of the wedding, we had a get-together with my bridesmaids. One of my bridesmaids had come in from Canada, so she was there all of the week of the wedding, so she... And so we essentially had just like a week of activities planned. So that Monday, my bridesmaids came over. That's when Liz did the wedding test that was in the wedding dress, no, the wedding hair video. And then, since I was still finishing up the dresses, that night my bridesmaids came over and we all worked on adding flowers to the reception dress. And previously, because I was having a lot of issues trying to get the ceremony dress to actually fit properly and position properly, Jenna helped a ton. Thank you, Jenna. One thing that I value so much in this whole wedding season, because even though this season was super stressful, I got to spend so much time with people that I care about. Like, so many of my siblings got to just come over and just hang out and body double while I worked on stuff. And one of my friends helped me mail out invites when I had so many people who were there to support Craig and I in this season and help us with getting stuff figured out. And I'm so unbelievably thankful for everybody who came and body doubled. One of my friends, when I was still staying in the small apartment, helped me organize it and make it feel more like homey, which was amazing, because I only lived in that apartment for 3 months. Yes, I do regret painting it. Don't worry, I do. And back to the week of the wedding. Sorry. My bridesmaids, my sisters and I got together, and I gifted my bridesmaids swords as their bridesmaids gifts. They customized their swords and I customized my bouquet, which was a staff with flowers and decor and stuff like that. And then we all went downtown Boise and had a nice dinner. Then Wednesday, my bridesmaids came over and we all worked on the tables, like the table centerpieces, and it literally went like, we don't know how we're gonna make these tables work. But then we were like, my entire art studio is literally just sitting in my room and the garage. We can literally just grab stuff, which we did. We grabbed anything that we could try and figure out how to do a table centerpiece with. And I also had a full plethora of fabric and tablecloths that we could use to make the table centers. So we literally, like, my parents have a giant table on their back patio. So we essentially just like laid out a table, decided on it, took a picture of it, put it all in a box. Next one, I'll like made it, take a picture, put it in a box. Like, it was great. It went so smoothly because we had to do about like 18 tables, I think. So, and then this entire week I have, despite how great it was to have like so much help. Remember the anxiety that I had mentioned that I had been dealing with consistently? That reached an all-time high. I had so many breakdowns the week. Sorry, I'm shaking this up with some water to liquidize it a bit. I had so many different breakdowns and I was stressed. As I know, me saying the fact that I was stressed kind of might make it lose its relevancy, but I was. I'm honestly impressed that I didn't lose any hair. Or maybe I was, but I never noticed if I was. It was 100% affecting my sleep, and I was just felt like a live wire most of the time. I don't really remember what happened that Thursday. There was something that happened that Thursday that was wedding related. Like the whole day of like setting up the tables were really fun. And then a storm rolled through that night and we just sat on the back patio with like bowls of chili and just ate and watched the storm blow through. So yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, and then that Thursday happened. I don't remember what happened that day. And then Friday, a few of my bridesmaids picked me up Friday morning, and then we made some stops, and then we had packed up and went up to the venue because it was a bit a ways from where I currently live. I essentially took a nap until the rehearsal dinner once we got up to the venue, and I was hoping to be able to help set up tables that night, but it was really windy, so we had to wait on that, so I was stressed about that too. Then we had our rehearsal dinner, went great. All of us girls went to bed early, and then the next day was the wedding. It was weird. It really didn't feel like the wedding, but like the whole time we were getting dressed and getting ready, it didn't really feel like it was real yet. And then we were all ready. We did our first looks. I did my first look with my husband, which he was so excited to see me. And he said because I did it in my reception dress. He said it was the most beautiful wedding dress he's ever seen in his life. Actually, while I'm on the subject of said dress, the dresses turned out great. I finished them that Tuesday. Because some people ask me, like, well, why did you make a pink dress? Why didn't you just stick with a white wedding dress, like traditional or whatever? I'm like, one, I've dreamt about having a colored dress ever since I was little, and I was doing it for little Lydia, because I was obsessed with pink when I was little. I knew I was going to wear a pair of boots for my wedding, which I did. I did it for little Lydia. I did it for her. I did it for my creative self, and I do not regret a single bit of it. Or I wish I did the prep sooner, but what can I do about that now? Not much. After we were done with wedding photos, I was on cloud 9. I was having the time of my life. Our wedding went great. We got to dance to some K-pop Demon Hunters songs, which was, of course, absolutely necessary. Yeah, and then after the wedding, like, we had about a week until we got to leave on our honeymoon. We went to Japan, which was amazing. There's not a day that goes by that I don't miss Japan. I want to go back so bad. I want to purchase everything that we didn't purchase. I just want to go back. I miss it so much. We were there for about 9 days. We got to go to both Disney parks. We got to visit one of the shrines. Got to walk across the Shibuya intersection, which is super famous. We saw both the Tokyo Tower and the Tokyo Sky Tree, which was in Sonic 3, by the way, so I've been there. I want to go back. I got some really cool stuff from there. I just want to go back. And even my husband was just like, hey, where else do you want to travel to? Like, where should we look into next? And I'm like, can we just go back to Japan, please? So we'll see. We'll see if that ends up happening. But so now, where we're living is the upstairs apartment. So the apartment that I was staying in is downstairs, and now we just live upstairs. So we're up here, and I have a tiny little art room, which you guys saw in the Halloween video. It's been going really well. Marriage is great. Life is hard. Marriage is great. But literally after we got back, I could not do anything creative for such a long time. Like, my body felt like it was literally shutting down. Like, I couldn't do anything. I was after the stress of everything, like just going, bam. Oh my gosh. I'm glad we're done moving. I never want to plan a wedding for the rest of my life until we have kids, and then we get to help them plan their wedding. We never have to do this again. Thank God. I also, ironically, despite the fact that I'm very thankful that we're not moving right now, I can't wait until we can afford to move somewhere else. It's just a bit small, a lot smaller than I'm used to, so, and whatever. Yeah, because then we had Halloween, we had my birthday. I turned 29, and we had Christmas. So that was my year. It's, even after I got the wedding dress, like I said, even after getting the wedding dress video done, I'm so tired. I want to get back to doing creative stuff. I'm just like, I crashed. But what do I hope for this year? Same exact goals I had last year, but hopefully I can actually do them this year. Like, I want to get back into drawing. I want to do more markets. I hope to do the Ren Fair, like all the goals that I set last year that didn't happen. I'm still working in the same field. I still work in pharmacy. I'm just at now a different location, and it's gotten switched over, and so I kind of just, I'm almost like my husband, who's a freelance, technically like a freelance pharmacy tech, which is honestly really great. But yeah, now this year is focused on getting answers about my health, getting answers about some of the symptoms I've been dealing with. Yeah, last year was a lot, but also like, kind of like I was saying with being able to spend so much time with my girls, I'm trying to like focus on, like, there was a lot of good that happened last year. Like, I got married. I got to go to Japan, which I've been dreaming about doing for a very long time. I got to go to Harajuku Street, which was amazing. I had my dream bridal shower. I got to get proposed to in the most romantic way possible. I got to go on a few trips with my sisters and my mom. I get to live with my husband. There was so much good that actually did happen last year, and like got to meet a lot of really, really great people. I sold a bunch of wedding dresses to different ladies who were getting married this year or next. So I have to, even though I acknowledge, like, yeah, there was a ton of bad stuff that happened last year, and I can focus on that, I don't want to focus as much on the bad stuff, even though it's a go-to. As far as media goes, same list as last year. If you want to see the list from last year, you can go to that video. Rachel Maxey is still my top viewed YouTuber. Since I was in such a state of stress, I was just wanting like comfort content to just watch over and over and over again. Like, I watched Rachel Maxey's videos obsessively, Kathleen Illustrated, Prickly Alpaca, Dress Me Up Scotty. I watched Ragmop and Goose so much, they ended up on my top 5 artists at the end of the year. Even though I haven't released a bunch of new content, I would still just go to their videos because they're familiar and comforting, and yeah, it was yeah. I didn't really watch a ton of new artists. I found a few, but they haven't become like my go-tos. And now especially I'm starting to get back into like watching, like, oh yeah, I watched Jacksepticeye and Markiplier and Gab Smolders like a lot all last year. But yeah, essentially the same artists that I watched last year. I listened to a lot of music. Now certain songs actually are embedded in my brain, having to do with like the lower apartment that I was staying in, because I would just listen to them over and over and over again. Of course, K-Pop Demon Hunters came out last year. Amazing movie, amazing music. I'm actually hoping to dress up as Mira this upcoming Halloween, because she is me. And if you know Liz, she is Rumi. And one of my other friends is Zoe. So it's really funny. I listened to McLaurin's single, the Let Down, the cover of the other song. I can't remember the artist. That was very obsessively. Listened to a lot of Marina. My friend got me into her music, and I love her music so much. I've gotten into some new artists, such as Official Hyge Dandism, or is it Hyge Official Dandism? I can't remember. They're a Japanese band. Absolutely love their content. I got into Kinganu. I found them while I was in Japan. Maybe it's stereotypical of like, oh no, I'm obsessed with Japanese music. No, I liked it for a long time, but I'm just trying to get more into it. Yeah, I listened to a lot of music this year. Since this year started, I got to see Iron Lung twice, which was great. Markiplier, absolutely phenomenal job. I want to own it whenever it comes out on digital or DVD. I don't care. And then I got to go see it with Craig on my second watch, and it was so good. It was so well done. So that was my year in review for 2025. And hopefully, no, not hopefully, this year is going to be better. I'm looking forward to this year. Looking forward to new answers medically, new creative avenues. Hopefully, I have no idea what my next video is. I have some ideas. We'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, thank you all for being here for the past 3 years now, which is crazy. Hope y'all will stick around, and Here's to a new year that is a lot more, hopefully, stress-free. But no guarantees, we'll see. But I'm looking forward to seeing new things, doing new things, and doing it with my husband. So I hope you all have an artsy lovely day, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be coming out. Bye!